Today we're going to take a look at the fighting system that I often refer to as the Jeet Kune Do of prison fighting arts. 52 blocks. Its conception, its progression, and its evolution. Let's talk about it.
Bloody history, violence is what you gifted me, made me into a monster. Look at what you did to me. Murdered my sister while she was sleeping in the bed. Enslaved my little brother cause a hoodie on his head. You set me on fire.
New York City in the 60s and 70s was a different type of place. Slumlords owned everything. Poverty was everywhere, and the police were always where they weren't wanted and never where they were needed. It was these conditions that gave rise to the gangs of the era. Groups of young men who took it as their responsibility to protect their neighborhoods from anybody from outside them. As the gang culture grew, these young men fell into conflict with each other, and as a result, end up in HDM, the place where, according to Minister Ali, the system that would eventually come to be known as 52 blocks was born. 52 blocks was never just a fighting system. It was lethality disguised as rhythm, brutality hidden behind beauty, and mathematics translated into movement. Every block is a trap. Every slip is a setup. You bait, you frustrate, you break a man's spirit before you break his body. The hands speak fluently, but the language they speak is violence. It wasn't monitored by referees. It wasn't bound by rules. 52 was intended for an environment where losing could cost you more than just your life. 52 blocks was created in response to a problem. That problem being the dominance of the box in the prison system at that time. Keep in mind that boxing was the big dog on the yard back in those days. Why? Because boxing gyms were plentiful in the 5 boroughs. And boxing was for kids in urban neighborhoods back then, with football and basketball off of kids in urban neighborhoods now. A way to escape poverty. But boxing didn't pay the bills if you weren't a bill collectors didn't stop demanding money because you were broke. As a result, many young men turned to crime while training to fight their way out of the hood. And as expected, those crimes often led to time spent as a resident in the Department of Corrections, which, despite what some would have you believe, is where 52's story began. According to Minister Ali, the process began organically, almost by accident back in HDM. A group of young men, including himself, China Church, Onions, Glassman, Karate Rob, Jamal, and a couple others whose names escape me at the moment, being housed in the same unit in HDM, a lot of time on their hands and not a whole lot to do with it. Most of these brothers have belonged to the gangs I mentioned earlier. Many of them were skilled boxers. All of them were proficient in at least one of the prison fighting styles that were prevalent in the day. Every day, these young men would come out of their cells, their fists, elbows, and knees wrapped with socks in place of pads and gloves. They would always say to each other, wrap up what you don't want broke. As a reminder to each other before going into the day room to spar, compare notes, and spar so long before they begin to see that the pieces of the various systems fit together like a puzzle. Both simplistic and intricate, developing into a system that the boxer would be hard-pressed to address. It defended in ways that the boxer was unaccustomed to attacking, and it attacked from angles that the boxer really didn't know how to defend against. It took the best movements and techniques of all the prison fighting arts that had preceded it and turned it into something different. It turned them into an expression in the fluidity of violence. So that was a little something about 52 blocks, the truth of the system, its roots, where it comes from. If you like that, drop a like, drop a comment, tell me what you liked about it. If you didn't, still drop a comment, let me know what you didn't like about it. And if you're interested in more information like this, be sure to check out From the Fruit to the Root, an essay I wrote about 52 blocks. It's available for free download. I'm going to pin the link in the comments. Shadow 52 VTK, like, comment, share, and I will see you on the other side. Harambee.